"Come on, Kara, you can do it," Emily shouted, her voice barely carrying over the din of the crowded bar. Kara, poised at the edge of the makeshift stage, took a deep breath and shot Emily a grateful smile. She had been practicing her guitar riffs for weeks, dreaming of this moment. The open mic night at the Velvet Underground had always been a mix of hopeful beginners and seasoned performers, but tonight, it was her turn to shine. Her fingers hovered over the strings, feeling the tension and warmth of the wooden instrument beneath them. The room was a blur of faces and neon lights, the occasional shout of encouragement piercing the wall of sound. Then she began to play. The melody was soft at first, tentative, as if feeling its way through the smoky haze. A few heads turned, curious about the unassuming girl with the guitar. But as the notes grew stronger, something magical happened. The conversations tapered off, the clinking of glasses grew quieter, and the entire bar fell under the spell of her music. The song she had chosen was one of her own, a raw, heartfelt tune about love, deception, and the pain of letting go. It resonated with the listeners, and soon, the only sound in the bar was the sweet, soulful melody that seemed to come from a place deep within her. Emily watched from the sidelines, her heart swelling with pride. She had known Kara since high school, and their friendship had always been one of those rare, unshakable bonds. They had seen each other through heartbreaks, career highs and lows, and the endless quest for love and acceptance in a world that didn't always understand them. And as the final chord strummed and the applause erupted, a woman with fiery red hair and piercing green eyes pushed through the crowd towards the stage. She was one of the regulars, a poet named Lena, who had a reputation for being as sharp with her words as she was with her wit. "Your music," she began, her voice low and husky. "It's like nothing I've ever heard before." Kara blushed, feeling both flustered and elated. "Thank you," she managed to murmur. Lena's gaze held hers for a moment longer than was necessary, and in that instant, something unspoken passed between them. Emily felt a sudden twinge of unease, a tiny whisper of foreboding that danced at the edges of her consciousness like a ghost. But she brushed it aside. After all, this was Kara's night, a night she had worked so hard for. And as the two of them stepped off the stage, arm in arm, she couldn't help but feel that their lives were about to change in a way they had never anticipated. The rest of the evening was a whirlwind of laughter, drinks, and congratulations. But amidst the cheer, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she had missed something important, something that had shifted the very fabric of their friendship. And as she watched Kara and Lena exchange numbers with a knowing smile, she wondered if she had just witnessed the beginning of a love story that would end in a way none of them could ever predict. Over the next few weeks, Kara's performances grew bolder and more frequent, and Lena became a fixture at every show. They were inseparable, their eyes meeting across crowded tables, their laughter echoing through the halls of the bar. Emily tried to be happy for her friend, but the knot in her stomach grew tighter with every shared glance, every whispered secret that didn't include her. One afternoon, as they all sat around a picnic blanket in the park, sipping wine and sharing stories, Emily felt the weight of her own unrequited love for Kara pressing down on her like a heavy fog. She had never spoken of it, not even to herself, but the sight of Kara's hand in Lena's was a stark reminder of the line she had never dared to cross. "Hey, Aang." Kara looked at her with concern. "You've been pretty quiet today." Emily forced a smile. "Just thinking about work," she lied. "You two seem really happy." Lena leaned in, her green eyes searching Emily's. "We are," she said gently. "But that doesn't mean we don't care about you. You know you're always welcome to be a part of this." The offer was genuine, but it stung. Emily knew she couldn't compete with the passion that had ignited between Kara and Lena. She had her own life to live, her own battles to fight. And as the sun set, casting long shadows over the picnic, she realized that she had to accept that her role in Kara's life was changing, whether she liked it or not. The days turned into weeks and the weeks into months. Emily threw herself into her work, burying herself in the rhythm of numbers and deadlines, trying to ignore the hollow ache that had settled in her chest. But every time she heard Kara's name, every time she saw a flash of red hair in the distance, her heart skipped a beat. And then one evening, as she was leaving the office, she saw them, Kara and Lena, wrapped in a passionate embrace against the side of the building. The sight was like a dagger, sharp and swift, slicing through the delicate veil of denial she had woven around her feelings. With trembling hands, she sent a text, feigning an emergency. "Can't make it tonight," she typed, her thumb hovering over the send button. "Everything okay?" Kara replied almost immediately. Emily took a deep breath, tasting the bitter tang of her own tears. "Yeah," she lied. "Everything's fine." As she walked away, she wondered if she could ever truly be fine again, knowing that she had lost the one person who had ever truly understood her. But she had made her choice long ago, and now she had to live with the consequences. But the universe, it seemed, had one more twist in store for her. As she turned the corner, she bumped into Rachel, a coworker she had always had a friendly rivalry with. Rachel's eyes searched hers, and in that moment, Emily recognized something familiar in the way Rachel's gaze lingered. Could it be that love was knocking on her door once more? Or was this just another chapter in a story that had been written long before she had picked up her first guitar? The air was thick with possibility, and as Rachel offered a tentative smile, Emily felt a spark of hope flicker to life within her. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for her to find her own happiness, even if it meant letting go of the one she had held on to for so long. Over the next few weeks, Rachel and Emily grew closer, their rivalry at work morphing into a dance of flirtation and stolen glances. Rachel was everything Emily had never allowed herself to want. Confident, driven, and unapologetically herself, the tension between them was palpable, like the static before a storm. And when Rachel finally asked her out, Emily felt a mix of excitement and fear. Could she risk opening her heart again, especially with someone she saw every day? But Rachel's smile was infectious, and the promise of a fresh start was too tempting to resist. Their first date was at a quiet, dimly lit restaurant, where they talked for hours about everything and nothing. Rachel's hand brushed against hers, sending a jolt of electricity up her arm, and Emily knew she was in trouble. It had been so long since she had felt this way, the thrill of new beginnings. But she couldn't shake the image of Kara and Lena, the two of them tangled in each other's arms, so clearly in love. As the night went on, Rachel leaned in, her breath warm against Emily's cheek. "I know you're still hurt," she whispered, "but I'm not looking to replace anyone. I just want to see where this goes." The sincerity in Rachel's voice was like a balm to her soul, and Emily found herself leaning in, their lips meeting in a soft, tentative kiss. It was a declaration, a promise, a chance to heal the wounds that had been festering for so long. But as the days passed, Emily couldn't ignore the whispers of doubt that plagued her. Rachel was straight, or so everyone thought. Was she just playing a game, seeking a thrill or an escape from the mundane? Emily had been there before, the secret love that could never be more than a fleeting fling. And then the inevitable happened. Rachel slipped up at work, mentioning their date in front of a colleague. The rumor mill began to churn, and soon, the entire office was abuzz with speculation. Rachel's eyes searched hers, a silent question in their depths. Emily's heart raced as she contemplated her response. This was it, the moment she had feared and longed for. But Rachel was worth the risk, worth the potential scorn and judgment. She took Rachel's hand, squeezing it tightly. "Yes," she said firmly. "Yes, it's true." The look of relief and joy on Rachel's face was all the affirmation she needed. Together, they faced the prying eyes and hushed conversations, their bond growing stronger with each challenge they faced. And yet, Kara remained a constant presence in her life, a reminder of what could have been. Emily watched from afar as her friend's relationship with Lena blossomed, their love a stark contrast to the secret she and Rachel were keeping. It was a bittersweet pill to swallow, but she knew that she had made her choice. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at work, Emily found Kara waiting for her outside her apartment. The look on her face was a mix of concern and confusion. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice serious. Emily felt the world tilt on its axis. Was this the moment Kara found out about Rachel? The moment their friendship changed forever? But as she followed Kara inside, she realized that the conversation wasn't about her love life. It was about Lena. "She's been seeing someone else," Kara said, her voice trembling. "I found out today." The room spun as Emily took in the news. Love, cheat, death, and now heartbreak. The cycle of pain continued, a twisted melody playing in the background of their lives. And as she held Kara in her arms, offering what comfort she could, she knew that the story was far from over. New arcs were forming, and the three of them would have to navigate this minefield of emotion together. But amidst the chaos, Emily felt a strange peace settle over her. For the first time in a long while, she was living in the present, not the shadow of the past. And as Rachel's number flashed on her phone, she knew that she had someone by her side, ready to face whatever the future held. They met at Rachel's apartment, the air thick with anticipation. Rachel's touch was gentle, soothing, as if she could sense the turmoil within Emily. They talked into the night, sharing stories of past loves and heartaches, their laughter a balm to Emily's weary soul. And when Rachel leaned in to kiss her again, it was with a tenderness that spoke of something more than just attraction. For Emily, it was a revelation. Here was someone who knew her, who saw her for who she was, and who still wanted to be with her. Rachel didn't need her to be the girl who played the guitar in the bar. She wanted Emily for Emily. And as they lay tangled in each other's arms, the world outside faded away, leaving only the warmth of their bodies and the steady beat of their hearts. But the world had a way of intruding, and soon the whispers at work grew louder. Rachel's ex-girlfriend, a woman named Sam, had caught wind of their relationship and was not pleased. Rachel had thought she was over Sam, but the anger and bitterness that surfaced proved otherwise. Emily watched as Rachel grappled with her feelings, torn between the comfort of the familiar and the excitement of the new. One evening, after a particularly nasty encounter with Sam, Rachel confessed her fears. "What if I'm just using you to get over her?" she asked, her voice filled with doubt. Emily took Rachel's face in her hands, looking deep into her eyes. "Then tell me now," she said firmly, "because I've been there before, and I won't go through that again." Rachel's gaze searched hers, and Emily could see the conflict raging within her. But then she leaned in, her lips pressing against hers with a passion that left no room for doubt. "You're not a rebound, Em," she whispered. "You're the one I want." Their kiss grew more intense, their bodies moving in a silent conversation that spoke of need and desire. And as they made love, Emily felt a wall within her crumble, the last vestige of her self-imposed exile from love shattering into a million pieces. The months passed in a blur of work, laughter, and secret meetups. Their relationship grew stronger, but the specter of Kara and Lena's love triangle hovered over them like a storm cloud. Emily knew that she had to confront her feelings, to tell Kara the truth about Rachel. But every time she tried, the words stuck in her throat, a jumble of fear and guilt. And so she waited, hoping that time would mend the rift between them. But time had a way of complicating things, and when Lena approached her one night at the bar, her eyes red-rimmed and her voice shaking, Emily knew that she could wait no longer. "I know about you and Rachel," Lena said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And I just want to say I'm happy for you." The confession hit Emily like a punch to the gut. Lena had always been perceptive, but she had never expected her to be so understanding. "What about Kara?" she asked, her voice cracking. Lena looked away, her gaze lost in the distance. "Kara's with me," she said softly. "But she's always had a piece of her heart for you, Em." The revelation hung in the air like a question, unspoken but undeniable. Emily felt a maelstrom of emotions threaten to overwhelm her, but she pushed them down, focusing on the friendship that had weathered so much. "We'll figure it out," she promised, though she wasn't sure if she believed it. And so they did. With awkwardness at first, then with a tentative acceptance, the three of them learned to navigate the new dynamics of their lives. They weren't a love triangle anymore. They were a trio of friends, bound by love in its many forms. As the seasons changed, so too did their hearts. Rachel found peace with her past, and Emily allowed herself to fully embrace the love that had been offered to her. And Kara, ever the optimist, remained the glue that held them all together, her music a testament to the complexities of the human heart. Their friendship grew stronger, a tapestry of shared experiences and unspoken truths. They supported each other through the highs and lows of life, career changes, and personal growth. Rachel's ex, Sam, faded into the background, a ghost of a past that no longer had the power to haunt them. One night, as they sat around a bonfire in the backyard of the Velvet Underground, Kara played a new song she had written, a ballad of friendship and love that transcended the boundaries of romance. Her eyes flickered between Rachel and Emily, and they all knew that she had found a different kind of love, one that didn't require possession or exclusivity. The song ended, and the three of them sat in the warm glow of the fire, the crackle of the flames punctuating the silence. Rachel took Emily's hand, and Kara leaned against Lena's shoulder. They had all suffered, they had all lost, but they had also found something that was beautiful and true. "Thank you," Emily whispered to Kara, her voice thick with emotion, "for everything." Kara smiled, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "You're the best thing that ever happened to me, Em. You always have been." Lena looked at them, her own heart swelling with love for these two women who had been her confidants, her rivals, and now her friends. "And you're the best thing that ever happened to me," she said, her voice steady. Rachel squeezed Emily's hand, and they shared a knowing look. Love had come in many forms for each of them, but in the end, it was their friendship that had remained steadfast, a beacon in the storm. As the embers of the fire cooled, they talked into the night, their stories weaving together like the melody of a perfect song. And though the future remained uncertain, they knew that they would face it together, their hearts forever entwined by the invisible strings of love and loyalty. For now, that was enough. The end.